Hello world, Stephen Michael Zach here, and today we're taking a look at the Molus G300. This is a cob light from ZHIYUN. It'll cost this much at the time of the recording of the video. Now I did buy this with my own money, so these are going to be my own brutal and honest opinions as always. So let's take a look at what comes inside the box. My own brutal and honest opinions as always. This is new to me. Inside the box you're going to get the light with a cap, a ballast with a cord here, one Bowen's mount dish, and you're going to get a power cord. This is a computer cord like you would put on your desktop computer. Now let's take a look at build quality. Now we'll take a look at the light. Now this is made of all plastic, but it is very sturdy and heavy. You do get a nice grip handle here. The release is on the side here, and it does feel very robust. And inside you do get protective glass over the LEDs. On the bottom, you're going to get the port where you plug in, and it is a locking port. And thank you, ZHIYUN, for giving us this. This is a disc system. There are no teeth, so you can really point this wherever you want. There is an umbrella holder right here, and this is a ratchet handle. So there you go. There you have it. Feels very, very, very nice. And of course, you have your regular knob there. Now on the back, there is some metal here, and you can see the fan. So we'll talk about that. Again, on the side, here's your release, and that is pretty much it. Thing feels very, very solid. And this is quite heavy, this head. Now let's take a look at the ballast. There are rubber, there's a little bit of raised rubber here, so when you put this against a light stand or C-stand, it'll kind of lay in between this rubber part to kind of help protect your light stand. And it does have a strap to hang it by. I'm going to show you a mod a little bit later. Now on top, you do get a USB-C for firmware, Type-C for firmware updates, and you do get this very long locking cable here, which is very, very nice. Now, in the front, you have yet another fan, and you have these very nice dials, which also depress in. And of course, on the bottom, you do have the plug for the computer cable. Now, setting this thing up is very simple. We'll go ahead and throw this on my mount here, like so. And right off the bat, I really love the fact that you can point this anywhere. It is a disc system. It is absolutely lovely. And again, I could ratchet this down out of the way, or I could ratchet this up and hang the ballast off it. It is pretty darn good there. So kudos there. Go ahead and you'll line up the red dots here, like so. And this will just, we'll line this up. And I believe there is a red dot on the bottom, and there's a red dot here. You can't see it on camera, but there you go. And this is to release this, you just have to basically pull down and pull it out. So it is a nice locking system. Not the best locking system I've seen, but it works. And we'll go ahead and loosen this up and bring it up. And there we go. Now we just have to plug this in. And I will say the Velcro on this is a little bit small, but you do get plenty of head lead. This is a very, very long head lead. And let's go ahead and turn this thing on by throwing the switch there. That is your power switch. And right away, this thing is crazy bright. Let's go down to, let's say 1%. So this goes from 0% all the way up, of course, to 100%. So there you go. That is crazy powerful. Let's go back down to 1% so you can see the screen. And it does take some twisting there. Even 1% is quite powerful. And this goes all the way up to 6,500 Kelvin and all the way down to 2,700 Kelvin. Now, if we tap the button, we get 38, 43, 55, and 65, and back to 27. So yes, this does have a very nice system here where you can jump around. And of course, if you tap this one, you get 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%, 100%, and then back to 0. So all in all, very, 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 very nice. Now, if you hold this in, you get special effects. You get your SOS. You get paparazzi, fire. You get bad bulb. You get TV. You get lightning, explosion, welding, strobe, CCT flash, CCT pulse, fireworks, CCT loop, and you have music. And of course, you have control. You can control the dimming and the speed. And of course, you can control the CCT as well. So you get full control on the special effects. Now, holding this right button down again, you go back to your color mode here. So this is the right side is going to go from special effects to regular mode. Holding down this button, you're going to go into your menu mode. You have your language, don't touch that. You have your Bluetooth reset, so you can set this to Bluetooth. You have your version here. And that looks like pretty much all you get is the language and the Bluetooth reset. Now this has a particular trick. When you hold both these buttons down, you are going to get 500 watts of power. This goes from 300 to 500. This is what is known as a boost mode. And this is an amazing game changer. Look how crazy bright this is. I could definitely shoot this through a window and definitely treat this as sunlight coming through a window. Pretty fantastic. One thing I will say is the fans will ramp up and you will hear them. Right now, this is a lot of heat, so I'm going to back off a little bit, but you do have that mode, and to get out of it, you hold these both down and you go back into regular mode. Now, note this will jack up to 100% here. And let's go to 3900 Kelvin. That's what we're shooting here. And we'll go down to 1%. And again, I'll press this again so you can see it. It goes into super boost mode. You hold these down. And it's back in regular mode, but it is going to boost you up to 100%. So you will have to turn this back down. But there you go. There you have it. Super duper useful. Now, one thing to know is that as this thing does ramp up, the fans will get louder and louder and louder. And as of right now, there is no fan control on this. Now, one thing I suggest is when the fan is running, if you want this thing to cool down faster, just turn it to 0% and let the fan run for a few minutes. That's going to cool down the unit. Now, touching the unit here, and there is metal here, so be careful. You could burn your hands. If you are going to adjust this, grab it by the rubberized handle here. Do not grab it by the whole unit. There is metal here. You could burn your hand. And I would definitely leave this for a few minutes and let it cool down. And as you can hear, the fan is already shut off. So there you go. There you have it. The fan has gotten quieter. It's still going, but what it's doing is it's cooling off the unit so I can put this back in my bag. Now let's go ahead and slap on the dish here. And there is very little play in the dish. There's a little bit of play. But again, if I take it and shake it around, you're not going to hear much. So that is very, very cool. And of course, the release button right back here, which feels very robust. There you go. And we are getting a 5,397. We are getting 1.3 green. So yes, it is skewing a bit magenta. And we're off the planking curve by negative 0.003 with a TLCI of 98. So again, this does not have any color correction built in. And here are the results at 50% power. As you can see, pretty much the same. And here we are at 3200 Kelvin, and as you can see, the tungsten is a little bit more accurate than the daylight, and that is just something you find on most bicolor lights. That is just something that occurs. Usually the tungsten is better than daylight. And for those of you who want to know, this is at 100%. So you can see that you're getting 3174, and you're getting a 0.9 green, which isn't so bad, and it's still off the planking curve by negative 0.0036. And your TLCI did go down a point, but still not too bad. And here we are at 5500 Kelvin in max mode. And as you can see, this is off by a 1.5 green, and it is minus 0.0050 and a TLCI of 9. So pretty much the same even in max mode. And in tungsten on max mode, here are the readings. Now, the planned fix for the ballast is I'm going to probably use one of these little V-mount plates here. I'll show you what that looks like. And I'm going to take a bolt. I'm probably going to have to drill a hole here and pop this through just a little bit. And this will screw into the back. I might want to get a larger screw and maybe add a couple of washers so this will be up a little bit. And then you'll be able to take one of these Godox mounts and it will just simply slide right in. So you're going to mount it with the flat side here. And that way when you go to mount it, it'll mount and it'll be held up top. Now I'm not going to do this because I'm actually returning this unit. I borrowed this unit. But that is something you can do to make this thing mountable, is screw one of these on through the back. You will have to drill this out a little bit. And then I would add a couple of washers and a couple of, and maybe a lock washer, so it's up a little bit, so it's a little bit away from the rubber, because if you leave it flat, you're going to have a hard time getting it in with these rubberized pads. So you do want to get this up a little bit with a couple of washers, and then it's just slide in and click in, and that's how you can fix the ballast there. Okay, so let's talk pros and cons, starting off with the cons. Now, the ballast does get hot. Be careful. The fans do ramp up once you get to 50%, and once you get to 100% or you go to max mode, you are going to hear the fans. But if you keep these at 40%, you should be fine. I know people who do documentaries who use these all the time and diffuse them at 40%, and they're just fine. So you should have no problem there. Now let's talk about the shortcomings. There is no locking mechanism, but that's fine. And you do have to hang it by this cord, which you know how much I hate. Again, I did show you how to add a plate, a V-mount plate to this, so you shouldn't have any problems. It is simple modification. And let's talk about the light itself. Now mine is missing the umbrella pin. I don't know if one comes with this or not. And again, once this gets above 50%, you are going to hear the fans. That is pretty much it for the negatives, besides just having this to hang it by, the non-locking cord. Everything on this light is pretty fantastic, and I wish I were keeping this. Now let's talk about the pros. I love the fact it's got this handle here. It's got a nice ratchet, even though it's plastic. It's got an umbrella holder. It is very, very nice. It's got a robust Bowens mount lock. It is nice. It is small. It can fit into a very simple bag. Now, let's go over to the control unit here. It is very intuitive. The special effects all work very well. It is very intuitive, very easy to work with. You've got a hard on-off toggle. You can use the phone app with this. I don't test phone apps anymore, but you get very nice long head leads. Now, I may not be a fan of this locking system, but it works just fine. So that is just something that could possibly break, but I still like the fact that this locks, which is why I didn't include it in the cons, because it does lock. And this thing is quite nice. I get why people want to carry this around. So I highly recommend this light. And I'm thinking about keeping it. So those are my thoughts, but I want to know yours. So leave your questions and comments in the notes below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to mash that bell button to notify when we drop a brand new video. And feel free to use the links below as it helps out the channel. I'm Stephen Michael Zach, and this is new to me.